This is the PlayStation 1's VR headset from 1999. Sony never released it, because it never existed. In the 90s, gaming was all about pushing the limits of what's possible. From 3D graphics to multiplayer capabilities, the industry was constantly evolving. But what if I told you there was a piece of technology that could have changed the industry of the 90s entirely? I will create a prototype VR headset for the PS1 in Blender by just using VR in this video. A few of you know from the live stream that I got the Quest Pro in an auction. Meta's headset was made for working in VR and such, so I threw it on and opened an application called Workrooms. It's for connecting to the PC and for work, so sounds like the perfect fit for this situation. Let's look at our references for the prototype. While VR technology was actually available in arcades in the 90s, it wasn't quite there yet in personal households. Households dominated by three gaming systems: Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn. But only two of them tried in the 90s to get into VR. So the Sega VR was announced 91 but never released, and Nintendo's 1995 Virtual Boy was a massive flop. So all eyes are on Sony, a tech giant famous for innovative ideas and risky tech. They could have seen this as a sign to double down and to overcome their competitors, and to not only win the console wars, but to change gaming itself for the next millennial. The headset would have been designed to fit the aesthetic of the PS1, with a sleek futuristic design and color schemes that match the console itself, like other accessories at the time. Lightning fast motion tracking based on the lightgun technology, compatible with every CRTV, and built-in Sony high-quality headphones. In the 90s, VR headsets would have been bulkier and heavier, with low-resolution screens and limited tracking capabilities. Wouldn't have been as seamless as modern VR technology nowadays, but it would have been a step in the right direction. And I tried to incorporate these elements while working on the headset's design. I also used not only the console itself as a reference, but also the lightgun and Sega's and Nintendo's headsets. For the problem with the heavy weight, I made a full head strap rig situation that rests on the chin, nose bridge, forehead and on the back of the head. The lightgun based tracking system is located in the front of the headset, where in the original console's design the memory card and the controller input would have been. I'm still fascinated by the lightgun system and its accuracy. Back in the day, it basically shot a light beam at the TV screen, and the TV told the PS1 what light unit inside the screen got hit. It was fast, it was simple, and it was never used again. So I thought it would be nice to use this in this alternate timeline as the main tracking feature. Anyway, in the end, I threw on a noise texture in the material to get this rough, matte plastic look like the PlayStation 1's shell. Well, this is the PS1's VR headset from 1999, made in VR and Blender. Nice. So I spent around 4 hours modeling the headset and rendering the shots for this video in VR. I was kind of impressed how neutral the experience actually was and that it was not a big difference from working normally. That's the problem for me personally. Why would I change the comfort of just using my regular desk setup? I mean, I guess that can change, but for now and my current situation, meh, why should I use it for working? For me, I will use VR for gaming and for my future character setup, but not for hours of work. Anyway, so much to that. Back to our alternate timeline. VR and Retrolopoly is a match made in heaven, and a lot of VR game devs actually already are aware of that. My favorites are so far Compound, Stones of Harlath, Shock Troops, and Espire 2. Not retro, but basically Metal Gear straight up in VR. If you have a Quest 2 or a Quest Pro, 25% coupon links are below if you're interested. I think for Sony's VR headset, release titles would have been Metal Gear VR Missions, of course, King's Field, Tomb Raider, Gran Turismo. Those would have been a priority for Sony's launch in the first few months. And maybe some Japanese exclusive perf game. They love to do that. Well, if you're interested, we could bring this whole what if scenario one step further and create a playable King's Field VR demo level inspired by this headset. Big shout out to Biscuit for this amazing video idea and Titanium Red for the King's Field VR idea. FromSoft's earliest RPGs are a huge influence for me, my style and what I like, and the King's Field games have a special place in my heart. Thank you Biscuit and Titanium Red, and well, while we can only imagine what a VR headset for the PlayStation 1 would have been like, it's clear that it would have changed the gaming landscape in some way or another. Well, for more content like this, consider subscribing and let me know what kind of titles would totally work in a PS1 VR headset. Until next time, stay retro.